Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corvame, but you can call me May, or she, or her.
I'm Swoos. You can call me SWC, or he, or they.
And joining us from the redacted block dimension, it's Richard.
Yes, it is me, Richard, or he or him.
How you doing today?
I am ready to play some Tetris for the two of you, as well as our wonderful audience.
So, in the top right of your screen, it does say level 100 Grandmaster. So, I assume you're going to be doing Tetris the Grandmaster for us
Yeah.
today. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely
You're gonna
not
get
Tetris Effect journey
you're
mode
gonna get
here.
Secret GM and TGM3, right?
I don't even. So, like, I just play Tetris. I don't really know what kind of rankings or anything. You know, it's just you play the game and then you just keep playing the game.
This is the best Tetris for I just want to play the Tetris. It's so good.
It is very visually appealing and
Yeah.
audibly appealing.
Yes, the music in this game is really good. You could start whenever you want.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Boom.
Ah, okay.
Whoa.
Yep.
So why don't you
Yep,
tell
gang.
our loving and adoring fan base about yourself?
All right. So my name is Richard, and I have been speedrunning since 2015. I I have an interesting introduction to speedrunning, actually. If you're interested in hearing that.
We
Yeah.
are actually.
Okay.
That just sounds like content.
I did kind of listen to the previous episode in preparation for this episode, and so I want to do a little bit better than ADF. Let's just put it out there.
You're our most
I am
prepared
local
guest.
recording,
Congrats.
so I'm already well ahead here. But yeah, anyways, so to kind of just preface everything, to start with my introduction to I guess professional gaming as a medium. I was introduced to StarCraft Brood War by my brother back in 2008. This is going to get to speedrunning, don't worry. But
Wasn't 2 out by then?
no, it was 2010 is when
Okay, so it's close
StarCraft
to when
was-
2 came out.
Yeah, but basically he was telling me about this friend of his that had moved to Korea to commentate StarCraft 1, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Someone from our small town in New Hampshire was able to actually do something, which you never really expect, right? But anyways, that got me interested in the original StarCraft, and I was like, oh, maybe like doing gaming stuff would be pretty cool. And so I started following StarCraft, and then when StarCraft 2 came out, I followed a lot of the community there in that game. And when 2012 rolled around, I'd say, I went to a Major League Gaming event, MLG, in Raleigh, and I had met someone who was into speedrunning, and I was like, I don't care about speedrunning. I just care about StarCraft. Why would I ever follow speedrunning? And so, silly old me, I went to this StarCraft event also back in 2012. So I guess it's been 10 years now. And that just so happened to be in the DC area, around where AGDQ of that year was. And then I was invited to go to Korean barbecue with some speedrunners and StarCraft people. And I'm like, all right, at least there will be some StarCraft people there, right? So I ended up going to Korean barbecue. And then the next year, I started watching DDQ events. I looked at when I followed the Games Done Quick Twitch channel, because I hadn't really actually started watching until 2014, but I did follow it back in 2012. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started into speedrunning. I started just following it more, and then I went to my first AGDQ in 2015. So yeah, that's kind of what got me started. My first speedrun game was Mega Man 6. I enjoy the Mega Man series a lot. That's the one that I had growing up as a kid. So that's what I started off with. And then I moved into other platforming games such as Ori and the Blind Forest, and then also some RPGs like Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X.
Fun fact, 2015. So I think I started watching AGQ or GDQ in like around 2014, 2015. But the one that actually made me the run that actually made me keep watching it, like year
Was
after
Mega
year
Man 6,
was-
obviously. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was Ori.
Wow.
It was
It was not
Ori run.
yours.
I was like, oh man, that game's so good. I bet the speed run's really good, and I was right.
It is a very good speedrun. Most of my watching on Twitch primarily consists of watching Ori of any kind. Like, it can be speedruns, it can be like, I will open up casual streams sometimes and just watch people play Ori because I do find it to be a very enjoyable game.
It's very good. It's
It is my favorite game, I would say.
You either on there's two types of people. There are diehard Ori fans and there are diehard Hollow Knight fans, and they'll never get along.
I haven't actually played Hollow Knight, so I can't.
It's Hollow Knight's
have an
good. I
opinion.
like Hollow Knight too.
Yeah.
It's
Bro,
the
you
difference
can
is
both
like
games.
yeah. Well, so the difference is that Hollow Knight is such a more combat focused game, and Ori is such a more movement focused game. So what I've noticed is that the people who swear by Hollow Knight are people who really like combat in games, and then the people who swear by Ori are people who like platformers and movement type games.
Yeah, I do like platformers more than I like fighting.
Same here.
As you could tell, Tetris is not a very combat-focused game, as you can see.
Tetris is a platformer. It's a puzzle platformer. Emphasis on the puzzle.
How many horses are in Tetris?
That's a great question.
There
One being
are
one
going to be
horse.
horses later. There's going to be multiple
Yes.
horses, actually. So.
That's true. There are also dolphins, which are like water horses. Not
Is that-
specifically.
I'm learning about
seahorses.
dolphins.
Seahorses are not water horses.
Oh, okay,
Right,
but
right.
dolphins
That's important to note.
All right, these are important facts of the world that I've never learned before today. I don't
We talk a
actually
lot
usually learn while playing Tetris, so this
There's
is
a
a nice
movie-
surprise.
There's a movie from 2007 called The Water Horse.
Interesting.
What does it feature?
I'll read the synopsis. On the shore of Loch Ness, Scotland, Angus finds an unusual egg. When it hatches, it releases an unexpected surprise, a water horse, the legendary creature from Scottish mythology.
Oh. Okay, that seems fair.
And then the water horse eventually becomes the fabled Loch Ness monster.
Is
So
this
it evolves into the
is
Loch
this-
Ness monster.
Oh, the water horse is a mythical creature that is just. Oh, it's like a kelp. Okay, so a kelpie can be a water horse. It is the head, neck, and mane of a normal horse, and has a whale. It's a mermaid horse.
Mermaid
no.
horse?
It has
Oh,
it has a
That's
whale
incredible.
tail, but not like that way.
What other way?
That's like a thing for like
Oh,
yeah. It's like yeah.
I will
wonder which-
research.
How do you not know this?
I don't know things.
Welcome to our
Are we supposed to
educational.
know things? I was not prepared for this.
Cool.
if
Thank
I'm
you,
supposed to know
Wikipedia.
things.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
This is our educational podcast, so
Oh no.
Where we learn about things you shouldn't
Oh,
research.
No.
yeah.
Educational.
I-
I can't provide anything of that nature.
We're learning.
I really apologize for anybody watching the video version of this, which has the game audio, because this is going to be the most, specifically this level, is going to be the most vocal noise you'll ever experience in your life.
It'll be quiet.
It's a true sensory experience. Also, play this game; it's really good.
This
Giant
game is a
Bomb's
sensory
2018
experience.
Game of the Year, I believe.
Wow, it's like Tetris, but like trippy.
What if Tetris was also a Winamp skin?
Why can't they make this the game of the year every year? Because there's like a new Tetris game. Basically all the
Because
time.
1 year Ori came out.
Oh,
True.
Yeah.
you are correct.
Yeah, and The Last of Us Part 3, 4, 5 is also coming out soon,
Oh,
so that's
that's-
guaranteed to win it,
That
unfortunately.
is true.
Yeah.
Well, that's Game Awards geared to
Oh, true.
guaranteed to win. That's different. If you were the Game Awards, what category would you add?
Best Last of Us Game of the Year.
The
Okay.
best
Borderlands
Ori
4
game,
wins
you
it.
mean? And then the
think we
first
need
Ori
more-
would win over the second Ori.
Wait, best Ori game? I like best Mass Effect 2 of the year.
What
Which
about
one?
what about
which
the
one
best
wins for this year?
Skyrim port? Of
Best
the
Ooh.
year?
Skyrim port?
Yeah.
Best Bethesda game, and this year it goes to Skyrim.
Skyrim. It's still, that's gonna be sad
Skyrim
for
on your smart
Next year
toaster.
it goes to Skyrim.
that's gonna be sad for Starfield if Skyrim still beats it.
Oh wow, Starfield was probably the best game ever made. The game of the year goes to Skyrim Legendary Deluxe Super
Skyrim.
Edition.
They should have the Skyrim names have like Street Fighter names.
Skyrim
like,
Rainbow Edition.
Skyrim Super Turbo Deluxe. That'd be good.
That would be good.
That would be really nice if they did that.
Hire us, Bethesda.
You can
What
you can
game
play
has
that on
been
your
re-released more?
cardboard box. You know, just buy a cardboard box. Soon enough, you'll be able to play Skyrim on it.
No, that's
That'd be
Doom.
neat.
How many things can Skyrim even be played on right now? I'm pretty sure.
11.
Yeah,
How
it's gotta be
many
double digits.
systems can play Skyrim?
2. Because everything's a computer at the end of the day.
Okay, let's see. The PC, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox Series X and Series S, that counts as one. The PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Switch, and the Alexa, so 9.
I like how Skyrim's on Alexa.
Honestly, that was a good bit. I liked that one. That was
Yeah.
funny. This is a device show. You send us in questions, and we impart on you our speedrunning expertise.
Prowess.
Yeah, well, not prowess, because that requires like that implies like you watch our show and then you get like all the benefits of practice. Which I don't think we impart.
You will. There will be one viewer out there that will.
Yeah.
Okay,
Osmose
Someone's
Tetris
next run is going to be a
ability
PvE.
into.
that's true. I fully believe that, but I don't necessarily think it'll be because of us. I don't think we can impart skill. I think we can only impart knowledge, which is a skill, but not.
Knowledge is power, and
moving on.
power is PBs.
Dear PB, do you
Dear
think
P.
there is a prime age range where speedrunners are at their best? Maybe physical abilities decline with age, reflexes, eyesight, and general tiredness, or is there an age that is optimal to grind out attempts due to lack of obligations and such? Just something I've been pondering.
You know, speaking of Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Prime Gaming, which means
Thanks.
you can subscribe to both either
You can
Gourmet or
monthly
Swoosh.
subscribe to your favorite streamer.
Yeah, you can subscribe. Just kidding. We don't take our show doesn't take that. You have to give us that sweet Patreon money, but
Whoa!
But
a
you
promo,
can get
a
cool
promo before the
emotes.
promo.
Emotes, though.
If you're playing Mario, the prime age range is 14 years old.
we make this joke every episode now.
Because it's relevant.
Like literally every episode, you're like, "What if I was 14 again, so I could be good at Mario?"
Yeah, if you are no longer a teenager, you should not play Mario games because you cannot be good at them. Apparently, that's what past trends have shown.
I feel like all those Super Mario 64 runners that are older than that may prove you wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I feel like
Okay,
that's
look.
I feel like this is like confirmation bias.
It's like the one exception.
What, the one exception that like the dozens of runners that there
Yeah,
are for that game?
The one
Oh,
game
okay.
exception.
One game exception. What
I
about
think-
the Odyssey runners
Oh
that
my
are also like
God.
Dangers and Fur and
True.
other ones that I don't know because I don't follow that game, but I know
Wow.
them.
I think
That's
the age
one of
thing
like
is
the
overblown.
most run games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
is.
has
I
like
mean-
1,500 runners or something.
It is.
It's no
Um,
Subway Surfers, but you know.
It is no Subway Surfers.
How many
Age kind of
people
doesn't matter unless you're like 80 years old and
Yeah, so like
have crippling arthritis. But like, shrug.
the thing with like esports, obviously like as you get older, your reaction time's slow, right? But for a lot of runs, like it depends on the run for sure, but for a lot of runs, it's less about reaction time and more about like muscle memory and knowledge.
Yeah.
And so like that muscle memory, unless you're at a point where you physically cannot do the input anymore, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. I think it's over. Like there are definitely some games that I've tried where it's like, oh, my hands can't move. Like I tried learning Pokemon Ranger, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, my hands can't actually move that fast. But I'm not sure if there was ever an age where I could move my hands that fast. So like,
Yeah. High APM games are like kind of an exception where like it's not really so much of like an age, it's more of just like an ability. Like you can't be like, "Oh, you're 26 years old, you cannot play this game anymore." It's like, "Well, your like body is kind of degrading a little bit enough that it just makes it not like super feasible."
Yeah, but like the thing with most speedruns is that they tend to be the same, or at least the same with like you see very similar patterns.
All
Where something like an
speedruns are the same. You heard it here first.
yeah, exactly. Well, no, I meant like each run.
This
run
is
to
the
run.
exact same as
Yeah.
Ori, which is why I'm playing it right now and not Ori.
Yeah.
They're both platformers.
Obviously, that's not every game, but you are still seeing very like the same situations. Whereas
Right.
with like an esport, you're like any sort of competitive game, you are specifically reacting to decisions that are being made to try and make it difficult for you to predict. So I think in situations like that, reaction time is a lot more critical, I think.
And then you have Daigo, who's like 42 and got top 8 at Evo in Street Fighter this year. So like,
That's true. Like at the end of the day, it yeah, I think it's overrated.
yeah, for sure.
I think one of the things too is when you're younger, you just have more time. Just
That is true.
more
That's also very true,
generally
yeah.
available time to do something. And that's something that you choose is just video games. So, as you
when
get
you're
older,
older,
you're like,
You
oh,
have
I
a
gotta
podcast and a hotfix
yeah.
show, and
you gotta pay rent, like you gotta
Yeah.
work and stuff, get money.
I mean, that's I've talked about this before, which is it's part of why I don't love GDQ's like tiebreaker being whoever has the fastest time, because if you have more time to grind out runs, then it stands to reason you are more likely to have a faster time as you've had more time to practice and more time to good attempts.
I agree.
And so, like, that's the actual thing with age, is that you just have less. I mean, you have different time. That's the thing. For some
Right.
people, you have more time because you probably have more. It's like I think it's probably like a bell curve of time, where when you're in high school, you have no time ever, and then you're in college, and then if you're irresponsible like me, then you have
Hell yeah.
infinite time.
Yes.
And then
Responsible.
if you're then when you get like a job and stuff, then your time goes down again.
yeah, and then you retire, and then you become the best speedrunner ever at age 65.
Unless you become, and then if you become a
Are you
full
talking
time,
about Zost? That's
if you
what
become a
Zost
full
does.
time runner, because you just like happens to work out for you, then you all of a sudden have a lot of time to do speedruns because it is your job. But also there are trade-offs for that too, as well. Like I'm not gonna say that's
Oh yeah, for sure.
like I know people who are full-time speedrun content creators who struggle with the fact that they have to produce entertaining content as a priority, or else
Yeah.
they can't pay rent anymore. And so, like a friend of the show who's been on it before has talked about how switching between a bunch of different games to mix up content means that he doesn't get good at any one specific game, and that kind of drains on him a little bit. So it's all trade-offs.
Speedrunning is hard.
Learning is hard.
But it's not hard looking at these cute dolphins.
This is my
on the
favorite
side of the screen.
True.
I think
Good
it's
content.
fast. It's got good music. It's got dolphins.
If it's at
Totsugeki.
nighttime and you're playing this game, this is a very rough stage because later on, the entire screen just brightens up to like
Oh,
a
yeah.
very bright blue, almost
luck.
to a white color, which I've played at night before, and it is not fun.
I think
to
this is
play
the hardest.
stage.
I think I found this stage the hardest one.
Don't play Tetris Effect after 3 a.m. challenge. Going wrong.
It's like a weird creepy
After like
pasta.
9 p.m., like just
Don't play
yeah,
Tetris Effect. Going wrong.
any amount of darkness. Here we go. Yeah, this is bad.
Whoa! Light
Oh
mode.
boy. Oh. That is very bright.
Yeah. It's quite a shift, I will say. Then you get some nice seagull sounds in the background.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. If I ever get the time machine, I'm gonna go back in time and I'll be like, now's your chance to do Mario 64. Don't blow it.
Specifically for this one moment. It's like if you
For
have a
this
time machine that can
yeah.
go to one place in history, I would go before episode 29
Yeah.
Just so I
No.
don't have to look at the
I would
bright
go back
screen.
to 14-year-old self and be like, learn Mario 64
Oh,
while you have the
okay.
chance. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay,
What?
that was a callback.
Yeah. No, I'm
to
gonna
the
go back.
question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to before one of the Dear PB episodes. Just be like, oh, did you
Yes.
consider maybe you should mention
you
this?
should play. You should play Mario 64 instead of Tetris.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to one of the episodes where I accidentally forgot to mention that we have a Hotfix show, and I'm gonna be like, make sure you mention it.
Post production.
This level's good too. I like the
Yeah,
the
this
noisiness
is-
of it.
This is probably one of the better stages,
Yeah.
I'd say, in this game.
The noisiness really fits the the city
T-spin.
aesthetic of it. But it's also noisy and a very musical. Oh man, this game's so good.
It is a very good game.
More games should just be Winamp visualizers, honestly.
When I originally got this game, so apparently some people struggle with playing the game. And so when I beat it originally, I was like, is there more game? Because I had seen some Twitch streams of it, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's quite a bit of content because some people were playing for hours or whatever, but you can beat this game in an hour or so.
Yeah, just
And-
casually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it's still Tetris. There's a lot of infinite modes and things like that too.
Oh yeah, master mode in this game is probably my favorite mode of all the modes of Tetris that I've played. It's a very quick speeds, and there's a low amount of lock delay, the amount of time when the piece gets to the bottom that you can actually move it. It's probably what I enjoy the most. And when I finish this run under an hour, I will go into that mode and I'll play a
Whoa.
round of that.
Journey mode or whatever it's called, the story mode of this game is very much expects you to not be extremely good at Tetris, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is a very relaxing mode.
Yeah, which it's supposed to be more about the experience of it than the actual difficulty. Which is
Yeah,
why
you
they
can
have modes that are hard.
You can change the blocks here to be the actual standardized colors that they've in the last
Yeah,
10 years they've standardized the colors for everything. But I mean, for me, I just play it for fun, so
Yeah.
might as well they worked on these custom blocks for
Yeah, I
each of these stages, and I really like them because
yeah.
they're different.
I think it makes sense to do if you're doing the challenge modes, but I think for the story mode, you should probably just stick with get the full audio visual
Yeah.
experience of it.
Because you can
That-
see when you clear a block, or a line, it makes all the blocks move, which is that's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not that is not your everyday Tetris
No.
here.
and that's the whole
This
point.
is
It's
Tetris Effect.
it's the same person who made Rez, right?
I have
And
no clue.
Luminous.
I'll believe
it's-
you.
Yeah, it's it's
I know nothing about this game.
the director of this game is very famous for making music games. So, then got the Tetris license to make a Tetris music game, and then it's really good.
I mean, the thing is, when you make a new Tetris game, right? It's already programmed for you, so the only thing you can add is either different blocks or different music, right?
Yeah,
True.
which is what they do in or 98 other players. That's another thing you can add.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
It is interesting that Tetris, the one of a very simple game at its core, still they're thinking of new variants for it, which is it's very impressive in that
Yeah.
there's so many games that you can make. Some people, I would say that maybe there's more games we haven't seen yet. Even.
Whoa, there are games that have not been made yet.
Yeah.
5400 XP. Let's go.
Nice. Now you're Grandmaster plus 5400 XP.
That's kind of sad.
Great
I would
Grandmaster.
have just assumed that the levels just keep going up, but they just stop.
Yeah, they should. You should be able to prestige in Tetris Effect.
Yeah. Because
Feel
it's just everyone's level 100, and then it's not
Yeah, I'm
fun or
a
anything.
Prestige 10, level 97 Tetris.
Yeah, because at least in
Super
Tetris 99, you just
Supreme
you keep getting stars next to your
Right.
name, which
Yeah.
is that's really cool.
I
I stopped
not
playing
played
that
very
game.
much Tetris 99. I played a little bit, and I was like, oh, I'm
I'm bad at Tetris.
I'm so mediocre at Tetris. And it's like, the funniest thing about Tetris 99 is that it came out, and then like a bunch of gamers were like, time to like streamers and like people who like competitive games tried playing it, and then we're getting just demolished by
Oh, yeah,
people
a lot
who
of
like
people-
gave it to their grandmother on their Switch and were like, go try this out.
I used to play this game.
A lot of people
Proceeds
were
to
not
win
very
everything.
good when Tetris 99 came out, because I think I started with around like a 60% win rate, which, like actual good players got like, 90, 95%
Yeah.
win rates. But then it slowly started going down, and it's like, if I played now, I'd probably only have like a 20% win rate.
Anybody playing Tetris 99 at this point plays Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
unless
Oh,
there's
for
like a
sure.
new skin comes out, and then you get people who care about Tetris 99 and thus are pretty good at Tetris, but are not necessarily the people who are playing it as their daily driver game.
Yeah.
The daily driver.
What would you call it?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a daily driver.
That's a term, right? That's a
Yeah,
term.
it is. That's like, oh yeah, this phone that I use is my daily driver. I use it on the reg. Like,
Okay, question.
you don't call a game your
Question about the run. Is there a reason to finish the level with a Tetris?
Well, ideally you clear everything in the speed run with a Tetris, because clearing 4 lines will be the fastest option instead of, so let's say I clear one line
yeah.
here,
But at
then
that
you have to
point,
go
you only
through.
need one more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because I'm bad at getting all Tetrises.
Got it.
But-
Okay. Oh, because it's always a set of. I see.
skill
okay.
issue. I see.
Yes.
I was just wondering if
like I said about Tetris, like I'm not a good Tetris player. I am.
I was just
a
wondering if
mediocre
speedrun
Tetris
wise,
player.
it was better to like immediately clear the section, or make sure that you get the Tetris so that the board is better for the next segment.
If you keep it, yeah, as long as you keep a clear board, like keeping a clean board is the most
Okay.
of utmost importance.
That makes sense.
Um,
And that, yeah, okay, I see.
Mhm.
Dear PB, what is the best stream snack? How do you decide?
Something that I
Best
don't
streams-
actually have to use my hands for, because I don't
Cheetos.
want to get my controller dirty.
Cheetos are the worst. Unless you have if you have chopsticks and
Yeah.
like you can use them with your non-dominant hand.
You
I
can use
can't.
2 chopsticks with one hand.
Yeah, exact. Well, what?
Well,
How-
it's
how
it's
else do you
mostly
use
your,
that?
Hang on. I take that
you
back.
actually put your food in a bowl and you go bobbing for the food.
True.
Ooh, that's a good
can't-
idea.
Yeah, I temporarily forgot how chopsticks worked.
I think the best stream snack is whatever's in my house.
So
That's what I
Cheetos.
use.
What do you currently have? If you were to go
What is
get a
in your
snack
pantry right now?
I have
Yeah.
cracked pepper Triscuits, which are pretty good.
Ooh,
Nice.
those are
The
very
only
good.
they're actually not a great stream snack, because if you inhale while eating them, you just get like an entire lung
Yeah.
full of pepper, and it's
True.
rough.
You get pepper sprayed by Triscuits.
I have those like I think they're like called pirouettes, the little like milkshake cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have those. I have
Those are also
some
good.
I have some pecan chocolate chip cookies. Those are good.
Did
I
you make them
have
yourself?
popcorn. Popcorn is a difficult one, because butter popcorn bad.
Yeah.
You get gamer grease all over your controllers, but
That's one of the foods that you can put in a bowl and you can bob for, though.
that is
so-
true.
You just
If you
stick your
just-
tongue out and
Yeah, you just blah, blah, and then
yeah. Yep, exactly like that.
If you just
you gotta
air
make
pop
that sound
though,
effect too. Blah, blah, blah.
if you air pop kernels, it's a great stream snack, because it's as long as you don't mind the fact that it's a bit bland.
They are air popped.
I like bland popcorn. I don't mind it. It's still popcorn. It's not as good,
true.
but
It's better than nothing, but
I
it
like
could
rice
be a lot
cakes
better.
though. So like, clearly I don't care.
That's fair.
Not Doritos. You know,
Only
that's funny that
Doritos.
Cheetos got like a reputation for being a gamer snack, and they're one of the worst gamer snacks, I think.
Yeah. That's because I think it's because people try to stereotype and associate like gamers being gross, so they would
That's
assume
fair.
that Cheetos are the one, because that
But
is
then-
the one that makes you gross.
Then the gamers reclaimed it.
Good?
I
Question
don't know if that's the right way to put it, but
Gamers reclaim the use of Cheetos.
Cheetos, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I don't really know how else to put it.
They made Cheetos cool again.
You see that? This is kind
No,
of
people
unrelated.
really love those hot and flaming Cheetos,
I don't.
right?
No,
Hot and
I don't.
flamin'.
I don't get it.
I like
Or
that.
whatever.
I do not
I
care for
don't.
them.
I don't actually like those ones.
Hi, this is post-production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, you can tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you can get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are like different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye.
They are pretty good. If you enjoy spicy things. If not, then don't.
I enjoy spicy things, but I don't enjoy like spicy snack foods, I think. That's my problem. So like I like buffalo wings and stuff.
Yeah.
But like
What about buffalo wing Cheeto?
that doesn't sound good to me. I don't know. I don't think I like dry spicy things. I think that's part of the problem. I'm learning a lot about I'm learning a lot today.
We're
About
doing
myself.
some
Introspection.
You never expect to learn anything while you're watching Tetris. So again,
I never
this
expect
is
to learn anything
great that you're
while
learning.
on this podcast.
Yeah,
either,
exactly.
so this is a
This
real
is new for all of us.
exactly uncharted territory for the show. I was gonna say something, but I don't remember what it was.
Something.
I don't think it.
I said it for you.
You were gonna
Thank you.
reclaim Doritos as well.
Yep, the problem with having Tetris in the show, it's very mesmerizing. This board state seems not ideal.
It's fine.
You're doing great.
Nobody's ever died playing Tetris before.
That is true.
If you die in Tetris,
Both-
you do not die in real life. That's what I've heard.
I've also heard this. But I don't technically know. I wonder if someone has died playing Tetris before.
I'm sure it's happened for many people.
Died while playing. There's a lot of suggested.
That's probably
ones
not
that-
something that you want to.
Yeah, I don't think I need to know this. I was more like it was more of a rhetorical wondering, if I'm being honest.
Okay, the first page of Google does not have anything.
All right, well,
that's good.
so-
That's
Then-
good.
I will not. I will
Alright,
not research
so-
further.
if you want to live forever, all you have to do
Keep
is
playing.
never stop playing Tetris.
Oh no!
Write that down.
But then you start dreaming about Tetris, which is the Tetris Effect, which is this
That's
game.
the name of
So-
the game.
So what if you dream
Whoa!
about Tetris Effect? Is that the Tetris Effect?
I suppose so. But then,
Whoa.
how deep does it go? You could kind of go on forever with this.
Well,
think at that
they need
point
to
it
make
is still
more
just
games.
the Tetris Effect.
But they would need to make more games called Tetris Effect, and then you can go deeper.
But if you have a
until
dream
then-
about dreaming about the Tetris Effect,
that's that they made a
Effect.
movie about that.
that's true. They did make a.
There is a Tetris movie, yeah.
That
talking
it's
about
called
Inception.
Pixels and it's art.
Yeah. When you dream about Tetris in another dream, it's called Tetriception.
Tetriception sounds like it could be a thing, honestly. Like
That sounds like one of, like,
Triception, Tetriception.
Sure.
Episode title.
That feels like one of like the combos that you would get. You have like in like the zone, you have all those.
Speaking of
different
combos,
names.
that's a
Good
snack,
stream
dude.
snack. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I used to
I
get
love
combos
combos.
when I was in
Combos are good.
elementary school because our vending machine at school had combos in it.
They're one of my favorite road trip snacks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like not too messy. They're the only problem with combos, it's really easy to eat too many of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
for
with
sure.
anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's ADHD for you, baby.
What if I just kept eating?
Exactly. I love dopamine. I wish to have it someday.
Imagine.
This level's good too. I like this level.
They're like crystals
This level,
or ice.
this level successfully simulates being at the club, but being on your phone and playing Tetris because you don't want to be there.
Yeah, that's
With
me.
fireworks inside.
Yeah, I mean that happens
Yeah.
sometimes.
Not these
Yeah,
times.
don't
not
research.
this
Don't
type of
research that
fireworks.
either. Don't look.
No, that one's bad. That's a bad one.
That
to
would-
research.
Indoor
yeah.
fireworks. Indoor
No,
mortar
no,
fireworks.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
kind of rough.
if you want to see a lot of if you want to be really depressed, that's a great
Just
one to
don't.
look up, I
Don't
guess.
even look it up.
Yeah, if you're not having a good day.
You know what? On to the next stage. On to the next stage here.
Yeah.
You
What
might
else can we
ask what
bring
the next
indoors?
stage is. I couldn't tell you because
It might
just
be
Tetris.
even more dangerous.
Don't know any of the stage names. Don't know any. I got 6,700 XP though, so
That's pretty good.
Whoa.
Now you're level 100.
Congrats.
Congrats
Nice.
on still being level 100.
I haven't D-leveled, so
Ooh, is this
That's
like,
true.
good.
Is this like
If you-
scaffolding?
It's like yeah,
You
like
can do that
it-
inside.
it's like old MMOs where if you die you lose experience.
Oh boy.
But in Tetris, that'd be rough. Especially if it included the non-story modes, that'd be extra rough. Because like if you do like infinite, you're at some point you're gonna lose. That's the whole
It
point
is
of the
true.
game.
Play the
Or
game
you-
to lose XP,
Or you just quit out before.
but then you don't gain any XP. You need
That's-
to beat the
Lose
infinite
it.
mode.
Whoa! Become the
Right.
infinite.
That's also a creepypasta. I reached the end of Tetris Infinite mode.
Yeah. What's at the end of Tetris Infinite mode?
A life-size Tetramino pops out and kills you.
Oh,
Whoa!
I'm glad I haven't gotten that far yet.
Good luck.
You like exit the cave and you're in Russia.
You're just in the ending sequence of like Nestris.
Oh, I think you said you're the ending sequence of Russia.
Well,
Uh-oh.
come back to this episode in 3 to 4 years and let us know how we did on that prediction.
Interesting. Welcome to our geopolitics podcast.
Anyways,
We need like a really like obnoxious title for the episode that's like insights into futures of geopolitics with respect
Tetris.
with respect to online experiences, a 21st century retrospective or whatever.
it's like 6 hours long.
Yeah. Put me
That's shorter than a Final Fantasy X run.
True. Burn it to a CD and put it in the next
Burn it to a CD.
issue
What
of
year are
Foreign
we in
Affairs.
again?
Drop it in like a library parking lot and hope someone finds it.
We should have like versions of the podcast burnt
Do
on.
you burn CDs of the podcast here?
No,
We
I was just
could.
saying we should put them on
Oh, you
VH
should.
or not VHS.
VHS.
That though, that'd be fun.
Cassette tapes?
I don't know the last time I burnt a CD.
Yeah, I hadn't since like I was a child. So
It's probably like 20. Oh man, I don't know.
I have
I probably did
a-
at least once in college. I would say probably. At
I have a
least
CD
once.
reader in my old desktop that I still have, and I think it has burning capabilities. So
I have all these PC discs from when I was a kid, and like no disk drive because why would I?
Yeah, I have a
It's like-
spool of discs.
Oh, wait.
And some of them are
I think I did
rewritable.
burn a disc like
But I
4
haven't
years
used
ago.
Someday
I think
should
I had
take-
I had to burn like a Windows installation to a disk because the installer tool didn't work.
Oh, weird.
And this was like, yeah, it was like 4 years ago.
Someday
Wow.
I should like take all of my discs and just ISO them all. So if I ever
Yeah.
want to play The Sims 2 and all of its DLC, I can again.
Yeah, you won't.
But it's so good. Have you considered? No, I'd probably just play 4. You're right.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
should
as
buy
good
all
as
the
this?
DLC for 4.
No, because that's like $500. I have a good bit of the DLC for 4, but not all of it.
You should buy all the DLC for
500.
Well,
Train
'cause-
Simulator.
The way I play The Sims, which is the way most people play The Sims, is you like forget about it for like 2 years, and you come back, and then it's all you play for 2
Oh.
months.
Okay. I see.
I love games like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Great.
Tetris.
All of the Train
Yeah.
Sim DLC is $10,000 if you want to
Okay, but I
If
feel
you want to
people like
splurge.
people used to love to rag about that, but it's like that's still cheaper than getting that many model trains, and that's what it's for.
It's
Yeah,
true.
but it's
You're
like,
not supposed to buy all of it
one route is like $40. Like,
because it's for
why?
hobbyists.
Why?
It's
The
like how
Sheffield Derby route is $40
it's like how
just to go to Sheffield and Derby.
it's like how iRacing is absurdly expensive because it's for people who want the simulator experience, and it's a very niche community. Like, do
Yeah.
I think the prices are too high? Yeah, but like, I think that is a more fair complaint of like one route is $40. I'm like, yeah, that's a bit much. But
It
then,
makes sense that there are so many of them, but like
yeah, 'cause you're
them
not
being
supposed
as
to
expensive
buy.
as they are, that is excessive.
Yeah, you're not supposed to buy every locomotive. It's like, oh, I love trains, but I don't have the space to have a train set.
Right.
And
like,
though,
that's
honestly,
fine.
I don't get it. As somebody who likes model trains and is like constantly goes, oh man, what if I like made another like a model train set?
Yeah, you gotta like dedicate a whole room to that.
Exactly, but it's also way better in person to do it in like
Yeah.
real. That's like the point. It's like tabletop simulator. Like, as somebody who loves board games, I don't play tabletop simulator that much because part of why I love board games is the tactileness of it.
I mean,
It's
tabletop
true.
simulator is only really good if you cannot be with
Yeah,
people.
yeah. That's true.
Like,
It's great. It's great for playing with people online.
Yeah.
But even still,
Otherwise,
it's
like,
yeah.
man.
Honestly, like, 2020, 2021, like, I opted to just play other games with people and not tabletop simulator just
Me too.
because I wouldn't get the feel of, actually playing games.
Yeah, I pretty much fell out of the board game hobby for 2 years because
Yeah.
I
same.
bought tabletop sim for like 2 people, and I don't think we have played it yet. So, oops.
the only thing I've used tabletop simulator for essentially is to try games to then buy in person. Essentially.
Yeah, that's a good it's a good way of doing it.
I
Or just to
recently,
like get like
sold a
mods of
bunch of my-
games.
Yeah,
I recently
Like
sold a bunch of
Pokemon
my
Master
Magic
Trainer.
cards to buy board games,
that's
but
smart.
I haven't actually
yeah.
played any of the board games.
I just go and I buy board games, and then I have a bunch that I need to trade, and then I was at GDQ during the sign-up time for the Gen Con math trade, and then I missed the deadline, and so I still have all these games I have to trade.
Oops.
Great.
I really didn't want to just keep moving around all my Magic cards, so I've been trying to get rid of them all. I still have a few $1,000s to get rid of.
I say as I continue to buy more Pokemon cards.
I mean,
Pokemon cards are cheaper though, honestly, all things considered. Playing at like getting a meta deck in Pokemon is so much cheaper than a good deck in Magic. At least,
yeah.
maybe not these days. I don't know. Back when I was playing Magic in the Snapcast Mage era, it was horrible.
Oh, like a $75 Snapcaster.
Yeah, you need 4 of them for every goddamn deck in the game.
Yeah.
Horrible.
No, thank you.
Yeah, bad. I remember my friend was like, I'm gonna net deck a $20 poison deck and have way more fun with that because it didn't cost me $400.
Yeah, I used to actually work at a local game store. Swoos might know it, Millennium Games.
Wow, I went there once. Then they closed.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah, I saw a bunch of people spend a lot of their savings on Magic, and I just couldn't buy Magic cards after that.
Yeah. 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 Magic cards are very expensive for a card.
It is a big money sink.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big money sink, and largely for, like, extremely
Minimal
artificial
gain.
reasons.
There was one person that was a regular that would buy, like, a dual land every week. Like, he used, like, part of his paycheck to, like, do that.
I mean, if you're like...
Yeah. Like, it actually just keeps going up in value, so, I mean, good on you for doing that. But
I don't know, like, Magic cards as an investment is like I don't know about that one. But if you're like, I want these dual lands, so I can have my entire deck of dual lands, and I can afford to do it, and this is my hobby, and it's the thing I splurge on because I like it, that's fine. I don't mind that. If you're like, if you're like not able to pay rent because of it or whatever, then
yeah, so
that's a little
I think,
irresponsible. But
I think what got to me was those people that would they buy stuff for standard, which, you know, for any viewers that don't play, you know, that's just like the most recent stuff, and those fluctuate the most in price once they like rotate out. And they would like buy booster packs. It's like what people do with scratch off tickets, right? They just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
use their winnings, they sell that back to the store, and then they buy more for crappier cards. So
If you ever want
it's
to
just like a
play,
cycle.
if you ever
Endless
want to
cycle.
play, if your goal is to play any card game and you want to do it at any sort of like actually have decks and stuff, never ever ever buy packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking for a specific card, get that card.
If you play Pokemon trading card game for the reason I do, which is you like the art and you
That's
find the
me.
game pretty fun,
Yeah, that's
then yeah, I buy packs
I don't
because
even care about the game. I just like the cards.
I just like the cards. Yeah. And I like sorting them and then looking at my cards and going, I wonder what I can make out of this. And in that case, it's like, okay. But I also don't have any aspersions of this is a good investment advice.
Yeah.
This is a thing I do with my money because I'm dumb.
Which, you know, like, people can be dumb with their money, and that's completely fine, because, you know, if you get enjoyment out of it, that's what's worth it, because you only have so much time.
Don't put
And
yourself
if
into
you're
debt over
yeah,
card
if you're
And,
getting
like-
some enjoyment, then, you know, at least you're enjoying the time you get out of it.
Find enjoyment where you can. We live in the hell dimension. Like,
Yeah, I'm stuck in this level 100 hell here.
oh, is that
Whoa.
time?
Did you
No.
just see that? No. No, I'm not.
There's one more set, right?
So there's one stage where the number of lines, instead of it being 48, it's 90. And
That's the last
one. Whoa.
That's the last one. I don't know
That's-
how many stages
That's
that
not a
is
multiple
from
of
now.
4. I don't know what to do.
That's when you just concede.
Yeah, why 90?
Why not like 400?
I don't know. Yeah,
Why not 92? That's like an actual multi. What?
that's the year I was born in.
Whoa, that's
400?
2 years before me. And like 8 years before Sploose.
Look, only 6.
Okay. Dear PB, so the question is, dear PB, do you take breaks while doing runs? How often and how long? I'm going to rephrase this question slightly to, at what point do you think you should take a break during a run, and how long and how often?
I have never once broken.
I have thought about breaking controllers. No, but in
Yeah.
terms of so I talked about earlier, I did some Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 10 runs. I actually started doing more Final Fantasy 10 runs than 8 runs, because there are so many break times in Final Fantasy 10 with all the cutscenes that it really doesn't even feel like you're actually sitting down for the whole run.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 8, there's one break about an hour and a half in, I'd say, that's like a minute long, and then there's nothing for several hours, and then you get to a 5-minute break like 1 hour before the run ends. So, you know, that's actually kind of one of the reasons that I didn't run Final Fantasy 8 as much, is because there were not enough break times for me for such a long run.
I would say the longest I can do like if I'm just by myself, essentially, like the longest category I do is Let's Go Diploma, which is like roughly 5 hours. Other than Shenmue, that doesn't count. I'll get into Shenmue in a second. But that's with a partner, and so like doing a 5.5 hour run with a partner is like feels very different. So even though that run doesn't have any breaks for the side that I do, the other side has a 3-minute credits break, but you don't do the credits on the Pikachu side. That's fine. I just have to go to the bathroom at some point. The song's so good. But then if I'm like by myself, then the longest I can do is probably around 4 hours. Just because I like, by the end of that, I'm like, I would like to be done now, please. Can I move on with my life? Thank you. And then, other than that, like the longest run I did was about 22 hours, and that was broken up over 4 days, which felt fine. It was also not a very serious run. If you're ever doing a run that's over 5.5, 6 hours, you should 1,000% take breaks. And if your game doesn't have rules in place for that, then you should push for that, because it's just, you shouldn't be unable to move away for any reason for that long. Like, people have to use the bathroom and eat.
Can confirm. I have used the bathroom and I've eaten.
I've
before.
also done those both things.
At the same time?
Not at the same time. I don't
Okay,
think.
good.
Let me think about that.
Maybe once.
Maybe once. Yeah. I'm sure there's a non-zero number of times that I've done that.
I have too much OCD for that.
I
Much too germophobic.
I have done long runs, and I've also overslept during a speed run and lost time due to sleeping. So that's cool.
I don't think you should ever lose time due to sleeping. I think that's bad rules.
Well,
Everyone just copy the Breath of the Wild rule set. It's really good. You just get breaks, and then you get more breaks as the time goes on.
yeah.
You're not punished.
So basically, what had happened was I had like an hour and a half, and I slept for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
So that was cool. But now the category has like better rules for that because mine was the first run for it. So
yeah, I don't think any if your break rules should not limit the length of your break. I don't care if you come back a day later. Like, people have lives and they need to do stuff. Like, it feels gatekeeping to me, honestly. If you're like, you can only take a 2-hour break.
I mean, it
or
is
whatever.
because like some people only have a couple hours, right?
Exactly.
Of free time, and maybe they can't actually do like an 8-hour run. Like that's the thing. I can't do like a continuous 8-hour run of anything really.
Like, in all honesty, if your category is over 4 hours, you should probably be at the point where there's breaks. It's like weird because like Pokemon categories, like I look at like Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? And that any percent is about 4 hours, 4 hours to 4 hours and 10 minutes, which like in a way is maybe long enough that it should have breaks. Because 4 hours is a long bit of time, right? Like,
no,
you easily get into situations where let's say you like can't get a run going, and then like you have 5 hours to stream, and it's been 1.5 hours, and you're like, well, I guess I have to stop stream now because I can't actually do a full run. Whereas if you had space for a break, then at least you could do half of it and then come back. And it's not even hard to do breaks for things like that. We just say like, hey, idle in your home menu or whatever.
right.
Yeah, we're like, as a community, we're probably rules around breaks are getting a lot better. I just dropped something in my garbage can that
If it's trash, then that's where it's supposed to go. So.
No, it was a wireless adapter. I don't know where it
Oops,
was.
I dropped trash in my garbage can.
Yeah. So the rules around breaks are getting better, but they're still probably a bit too conservative, honestly. I think if you try to push like, I know like whenever people have been like, hey, maybe we should allow breaks for like runs that are like less than 6 hours, and people are like, that doesn't seem reasonable to me. And I'm like, 6 hours is a lot of time, y'all. 6 hours is very long.
That is a lot of hours.
I don't know. Are there like recommendations of how long it should be between bathroom times?
I mean, you can look at like OSHA's regulation for breaks.
Yeah, OSHA break times. That's
Isn't it like a few minutes every hour or something? Like
employees who work 7.5 hours must receive a 20-minute break between 5 hours. So at the very least, you should not be doing worse than OSHA, who is this is very
Who is
employer-friendly regulation.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you have like a 4 or 5 hour game, then at least a little bit would be good.
It's just like, even just like on a pragmatic sense of just like letting people be able to run the game, I think is good.
Yeah.
You know what else is good? Turbo. Just turbo and brakes. I'm gonna casualize speedrunning. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's for casuals now.
The liberals are invading speedrunning.
Yeah, remember when it was for real gamers only.
Right, so I know this spaceship level is very close to the end, so it might be like less than 5 stages
one more?
left. Maybe even. I know it's like less than 5.
10 more.
10 more stages. All right.
10 more lines.
Again, I couldn't tell you. It's just Once it says 90, that's when I know.
I do love the idea of just being like, I mean, they're all Tetris. I don't know what order they're in. Like that, I would 1000% do that just because.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
because it really
well,
doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
I love not knowing the sequencing of my runs. I do it way too much for games that I'm not as familiar with. Oh, okay. If your game, that was the other thing I was going to say. If your game has built-in breaks, then you could be a little bit less.
Oh yeah, like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. Or
So like my frame reference is Brawl challenges, and one of the challenges is to literally just sit there for 6.5 hours. So that's like a mandated break.
Okay, that
So
explains
you
why
get
you
that.
overslept.
That was for a different thing. There's
Okay.
there's a lot of places in the game where you just idle. So there's the one for 6.5 hours. There's one for about an hour and a half, which is that was one that I overslept in because you need to grind KOs. There's like 5 minutes at the end of Subspace because you need to watch the credits and they're very long. That's like 2 hours in. That's about it. So I mean, you can like strategically place your breaks so you don't need to like stop, which is nice.
Yeah. When I ran Shenmue, the beginning of Shenmue, you do a ton of stuff, and then you get to the forklift section, and you don't do a lot at all. So it's pretty much, 15-minute breaks, pretty much every once an hour until there's one point where you have a 34-minute break where you can just walk away in the game.
34-minute break.
Yeah, so
exactly
the way Shenmue works.
I need to run Shenmue. Dang.
Yeah, Shenmue rips. Time passes in real time in Shenmue, and there's no way to fast forward in Shenmue 1. And so there's a point where you're working your job, but you don't actually have to work your job that day to progress the story.
Wait, can I do that in real life too?
Kind of. I mean, it depends on how you want to progress the story, I guess. And so you just what you do is you make sure that your controller isn't the input because it will go to sleep. And so you just hit space bar, and then you walk away, and you have to come back within 34 minutes. The
nice.
The notes say go make a sandwich. You have time.
Ooh.
You could probably you could probably have time to do a little bit more than that.
Yeah, you can make like a full meal.
Yeah, there was that show, 30-minute meals.
Exactly.
Rachel Ray one.
Yeah.
So time is when you get the 90th line.
When I get the 90th one, yeah.
Got it.
What if you don't get a 90th one and instead you get like a 92nd line?
Then you have it's like 301 rules. The turn doesn't count.
Nah, it will.
You need to land on 90 lines.
Who would win, 90 lions or the sun?
Yes.
I think the lions have a fighting chance.
It's a lot of lions.
90 is a lot.
90
is a lot. I would lose count after like 8. So
1, 2, 3.
As evidenced by me doing Pokemon, having to count to like 4 sometimes and being like, was that 4? I don't know. Counting's hard.
Yeah,
it is.
That's why
I didn't know how many
Tetris has a
stages were
counter.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could not keep track of this. If I had to automatically or if I had to press a button to switch stages whenever I reached the line amount, I wouldn't know. There's no way.
They don't tell you about speedrunning is that you need like an upper graduate degree in mathematics in order to be able to count correctly.
You need to understand the English language to speedrun a lot of games in English.
That is true. Some games you don't
just
have
learn
to.
the squigglies.
Yeah, it's like a lot of board games are like
English squigglies.
You need to be fluent in English to play this board game. It's like, okay, shit.
A lot of games are better if you understand simplified Chinese.
Yeah, or Japanese.
Or Japanese, or French, or sorry, Italian if it's
Italian,
Mario Sunshine.
Sunshine, yeah.
Splendido.
That still feels so arbitrary that of all the games to be faster in Italian.
I know.
Mario Sunshine is the most apt, I think.
Do they still play it in Italian?
Last I saw they did. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe. I will find out. No, it is all Japanese now.
Is it? With the cutscene skip, maybe it's faster?
I don't know exactly why, but...
Oh, yeah, probably. Well,
Yeah,
no, all those cutscenes are in English, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
The number 1 time on PAL is 24th in the leaderboard, so...
Interesting. Why were they all doing Splendido, then? I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe it was faster back in the day.
But PAL is always slower, too, so that's also confusing.
PAL's always slower because it usually runs on 50
I
FPS,
know.
but not always.
Okay.
Like Brawl can play in PAL 60, so
Okay.
Brawl is faster on PAL because reasons.
I am so glad we live in a world now where things
Wait,
are
we
region
didn't live in a
locked and
world
they just-
before?
No, we live it.
I'm so glad we live.
Now we lived in a world. Now we live in a society, is what I've
This is-
heard.
Wholesome life advice podcast. I'm very glad that you're here with us today.
Yeah, but now like everything's like nothing's region locked anymore, and just you could just pick your language. God,
Right.
it was so bad before.
I need to go out and buy a copy of the game that only came out in France. Darn.
For
Like, I love watching-
$700.
Yeah, for a 7-second time save.
I love watching like speedrunning documentaries, and it's like, oh well, so the reason why it turns out that it was faster on PAL, so just all the European runners were just saving time, and then like, or like vice versa, and then other runners just like, well, I guess I'm just running it with the time loss.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we figured out that PAL is faster for Brawl is because someone from Germany was like, hey, I found this skip, and we're like, you can't
Koreans
do
from
that.
Germany.
And they were like, no, it definitely works. And it's like, oh, this is
Oh,
PAL
well-
only. Cool.
We're almost
Luckily, Brawl is the most popular Wii game or whatever, so it's really cheap. But
That's
Yeah.
what we. This is why we never should have built that tower.
there. Time.
Time.
woo.
Right now, there's like the credits or whatever. It does this.
Whoa, that's like
Zone thing.
TGM. You're a
Yeah,
true
you gotta get all your
grandmaster.
lines.
Now cover your eyeballs.
Yeah, then you get into negative zone.
Yeah.
Too bright.
Oh, it's Luigi's final smash.
Not anymore.
Oh, is
They
it
changed
different
it
now?
for content.
Whoa.
Yeah, Ultimate made all the final smashes more like attack based and not like supporting stuff.
That's lame.
Congrats on the achievements.
Thanks. This is my third ever run of this, so maybe it is an actual PB. Who knows?
What's your PB before?
It was whatever I put in that screenshot with
I don't-
dangers.
I don't remember what
Let's
you put in the
find out.
screenshot. When did you give us a
When?
screenshot?
Where?
Where?
Is it in the DMs with you, May? When
Oh,
you asked
maybe.
me to
Wow.
do
Oh,
this?
yeah. It is not a PB, but it's close.
Dang.
Oh.
Alright. I figured it would probably be close.
Have we had a PB on the show yet?
I don't know.
Probably.
Well,
not.
we had in a way, yes, because when I accidentally didn't record Shasta's run,
True.
and then we put in his
Yeah, that
PB
doesn't
time.
count.
God, that was a PB on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That counts, right?
I think that
Of
counts.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely counts.
I don't know if we've had a PB. Well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for us to have a PB on the show because, again, we produce bad runs on this show and all of our
Yeah.
shows.
This was a pretty bad run.
That's what we do. We distract you, and then you people make mistakes. That's called gaming.
I, love
I mean,
gaming.
was this sub an hour?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was like
You wanna know your
50
time?
something.
Yeah, what was it?
59:24.
Ooh, right under an hour.
That's
for
with
me.
words, yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
under an hour is pretty good.
I don't know. I assume your what's faster time is also with loads, so
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
also real.
it's on the hot mix. So, Richard, where can people find you?
They can find me. I don't use social media really. I don't stream. You can find
Well,
me in
where can we find you?
GDQ chat Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's
Find-
where you can find me.
You can find Richard in hashtag tech
Every other-
dash checks in the GDQ hotfix server.
Every other week you can find me on twitch.tv/adef restreaming Speedrunners and Dragons. As Adef noted in the last episode, he just hired someone. I am that someone.
Ooh. Who is that someone?
Because I'm not important enough to have a name apparently.
Welcome to Dear PB, where this time it's personal.
This time, yeah. That's our new
Personal
show
best.
idea.
This time it's personal best.
True.
There's
I
already
feel
a
like-
hotfix show for that.
I know. That's what I was alluding to.
Good.
If you like our show and you're like, I wish there was more of it, good news! You can follow us on Twitter. That's where we announce the new episodes when they come out and who the guest is going to be so that you know who to send your questions into. Please send in your questions. We need them to live. If we don't get questions, we will die of death.
Whoa.
Can confirm.
We will die of death.
Yeah.
We will
People
I'll just
die
keep
when they
playing
are
Tetris
killed.
so I live, though.
Yeah, we will
That
suffer
is-
from death.
That is established lore. That is at twitter.com/DearPBPod, DearPBPod. You can also find us on Patreon if you want the bonus episodes, which are good sometimes. It's $3 a month. You get a bonus episode at least once a month. You also get the episodes 3 days early, usually.
Yeah.
It's cool. You get access to the secret Discord channel where we just talk, where people are like, "Wow, the new episode came out. Cool."
Ooh.
And if you're like, I wish I could listen to this while also listening to the music of Tetris Effect because I listen to it on my podcast app, then you can follow us on YouTube. Link in the description. That's all the videos are posted there with the runs in the background. And if you're like, I watched this on YouTube and it was way too visually stimulating and I'm overwhelmed, then check it out on the podcast app, any podcast app of choice, wherever you find your podcasts, because we don't include the game audio there, so it's a lot calmer.
Yay.
Or you could do both and can just compare both experiences.
Yeah, and then we get double
Listen
the
to both
views,
at the
which is a
same
win
time.
for us.
Yeah.
And then, also for all you viewers, if you share it with your friends, that also
Whoa.
equates to more views.
That is true. And the
Ring
more
that
views,
bell.
the more views we get, the more likely we are to be able to do this
Not
more.
die of death.
and
Do
not
more.
die of death, and do another live show and stuff. So
Yeah.
tell your friends.
And your
That's-
family.
Yeah, tell your you know
Just
the
tell
holidays
everyone.
are coming up in 4 months. Get them a Patreon subscription to Dear PV.
True.
They'll be like, "What's that?" And then you'll just be like, "It's okay."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
they'll be-
alright.
No, they're like, "What's this weird hobby you're into?" And it's like, well, what if I gave you the worst possible introduction to it?
The best possible introduction to it. Just link them to this episode.
A podcast where
That
they-
previous episode with ADEF, though, that
Eh.
might not be a great introduction.
check out this podcast where they sometimes talk about it and often don't.
Why is this the title or what?
What is
Don't
it?
worry
It's
about
like
the title.
it's like Dear Abby, but not. I don't get it. Game over.
All right, and with that, goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't be racist.
Goodbye.
Don't be racist.